everybody. Now, I'm going to do something a little unusual here. I'm going to tell you the very last thing I'm going to say. And here it is. Everybody has a story, and you're not doing enough to tell it. Now, let me explain how I got here. See, here I am, sitting on the edge of this bed. It's a queen, if it matters. The bed's not mine. The room's not mine. This apartment certainly is not mine, and this is not my permanent address. I know that because I don't have a permanent address. I gave all of that away. I gave it up. And now I'm sitting on this bed, not really like this, more like this. And I'm thinking, what the heck have I just done? See, most of my close friends told me not to do this. Don't gamble away your career. Don't make this decision. But you know that gut feeling that you get? That fire in the belly? That voice that says, you have to do this, or you'll regret it later. You know that feeling, right? See, a year before that, in 2012, I thought I was about to get at the pinnacle of my career. I could see the brass ring and I was going to grab it. I was a reporter in Minneapolis. I had been there for 7 years, investigative reporter, and I had it made great. The top left picture in red is me in Iraq, embedded for 3 weeks with US troops covering that war. The top right is me in Kenya, covering medical supplies and firefighting equipment being donated from Minneapolis to the sister city of Eldoret, Kenya. I was going around the world for Minneapolis. And in fact, the owner of the entire company, so TV stations, radio stations, the owner told me I had a job for life. Who's giving jobs for life out these days, and certainly not at media companies? Have you been seeing what's happening? So I was so content. And that's the problem. I always want to challenge myself. And you know, in journalism school, they teach you that the holy grail is the network. Oh, right? If you could just get there. For me, it was CBS News. And so I had to figure out a way to get CBS News to call me, Mark Albert, in Minneapolis. How's that going to happen? I'm an investigative reporter in Market 15. So I thought, I'm going to do something to get their attention. And finally, in 2012, it worked. And I got the call. Not one interview, not 2 rounds, not 3, not 4, 5 rounds of interviews at CBS News. I met with the CBS News president, met with the director of talent, met with the bureau chief for the DC bureau where I would be stationed. I thought it went great. Man, I was down to the final 2. I was killing it. And then I was the first loser. Womp womp. Didn't get the job, tucked my tail between my legs, and I went back to Minneapolis. And do you know the overriding thought in my head? They don't know what they're missing. I was determined to prove to CBS News that I belonged at the network, that I belonged there. And so I thought to myself, let's go for it. So when my contract came up a year later in Minneapolis in 2013, I turned it down. I turned down that job for life. I had saved money over the past year, a lot of money, as much as I could, got rid of my apartment, put everything I owned in storage, and I hopped in my car and I moved to DC. And that's how I ended up right here, right on the edge of this bed in October 2013. No job, no health care, dwindling money by the day, and I'm slumming it at my friend's house, and who knows how long that's going to last. I got to make something happen. I was making 20 or 30 bucks doing those secret shopping things. I'd been a journalist for 15 years on television, and here I am doing secret shops at a movie theater just to make money. But you know what it's like to scrap for money. So I decided what I was going to do. Once again, I was going to get CBS News' attention. So I thought, well, wait a minute. I'm an investigative reporter. I'll just investigate where the people who interviewed me are going to be at public events, conferences, conventions, panels. And then I would coincidentally show up. Allison, oh my gosh, how great to see you again. How are the kids? Hey, did you know I'm in DC now? I did that several times until finally CBS News told me essentially, Mark, stop. Just stop. Why don't you come by the office on Monday and we'll talk? So now I'm thinking, one of two things is going to happen. Either I'm going to get the job of my dreams. They're going to figure out that when they didn't hire me, oh my gosh, it was their bad. They made the mistake. Or I was going to get slapped with a cease and desist order for stalking. It was like 50-50. I wasn't quite sure which way it was going to go. So I walk into his office, the DC bureau chief, the same guy I had already interviewed with, and he says the words that would change my life. He says, we're short a correspondent this weekend. Can you fill in for the CBS Evening News? Ooh, let me check my planner. Yes. Right? Yes. And so that's what I did. This is me, my very first live shot for CBS News in March of 2014. Thank you. Thank you. I want you to notice two things here. One, no gray hair. And number two, I look nervous as, sorry. You know, the FCC censor is still in my head after 25 years on TV. So I did the CBS Evening News Saturday night, Sunday night. I did CBS Sunday morning. And I was all ready for that phone to ring. You've got the job. The phone didn't ring on Monday. And the phone didn't ring on Tuesday morning. Tuesday afternoon, I get a call. Hey, Mark, it's Ward. We're short again this weekend. Can you come back this weekend? Yep, I can come back this weekend. So I did the same thing for the second weekend. Phone didn't ring on Monday. Phone didn't ring on Tuesday, Wednesday morning. Can you come back for a third weekend? Those 3 weekends turned into 3 years on almost every CBS News platform. CBS Evening News, CBS This Morning, CBS Radio, CBS Streaming, CBS Sunday Morning. It was unbelievable. This is me for those 3 years, traveling the world, Peru, Taiwan, Australia, all over the US for the network. Now, I'm telling you this story because you know what I'm talking about. You know what it's like to be resilient, to have to persevere, to have dogged determination. You're all entrepreneurs, you're small business owners, you're rising leaders. You wouldn't be in this room if you didn't have that resilience, that stick-to-itiveness, that gut feeling, that fire in the belly. You wouldn't be here without that. And people need to hear that now. They need to hear your story of resilience. They need to be inspired by you. They need to hear your voice. They need to hear our voice now more than ever from this community. Some of you are already doing that on your social media channels, on your website. If you have a storefront, that's called owned media, media that you own. Some of you are doing that in ads, Google ads, Super Bowl commercials. You've hired that plane over the Las Vegas Strip this week with your banner and your logo. That's paid media. But most of you are not doing what I think, based on my quarter century on television, is the most valuable form of media: earned media. You can't buy it, you can't sell it. Just like the name implies, you have to earn it through the value of your expertise. The value of your expertise. Here's the truth. You don't need to spend $20,000 a month on a PR firm to get earned media. And you don't need a big shot speakers bureau to take 30% of what you make from a speech. You simply need to know how to do it yourself. And here's why. Every single day in America, in every newsroom in America, journalists are looking for experts. Experts like all of you. And you know what else is happening every single day in America, in every community in America? Experts are looking for journalists. My mission since I left television is to bring the two together. I wish I had all of you in my Rolodex. Remember Rolodex? I wish I had all of you in my Rolodex when I was at CBS, when I was leading a national investigative unit. You are the type of experts that journalists need to hear from, diverse voices across the board, no matter the industry. But you don't do it by pitching your company, your product, or your brand. What? Wait, what? Like if we had a sound effect queued up, it'd be that record scratch right now. Wait a minute, how am I going to get a journalist to cover me and get the media, the earned media that I want if I'm not pitching my company, my brand, my product? You pitch your expertise. And then if you get quoted, of course they're going to mention your company, who you are, your title. If you get quoted on the top front page of the New York Times, you're not buying that. You're getting quoted there because of your expertise. If you get quoted in the top story on the CBS Evening News, you didn't buy that. You earned it through earned media. You can speak to 2,000 people in a ballroom, or you can speak to 200,000 people on the evening news, or 13 million on World News Tonight on ABC. Which one is the bigger megaphone? And once you are seen in the news media, once you get that earned media, that trust factor from those news outlets confers upon you. The viewer, the reader, the listener assumes, well, CBS wouldn't put this person on if they didn't know what they were talking about. That can lead to ROI and new clients and new opportunities and new speaking and board seats and all kinds of things. But you need to know how to do it, how to get earned media. And right now, you're going to get a blueprint. If you scan that QR code, you're getting the ultimate media pitch checklist. We just wrote this for you. Like, we haven't given this out at any other event. We wrote it for NGLCC because it's so vital that your voice be heard. We want you to know how to do a pitch to a journalist. Now, a couple things here. Number one, don't pitch and run. Don't pitch and run. Don't pitch the greatest thing since sliced bread and then go off to the Poconos off the grid for a week. Journalists hate that. And number two, don't pitch your company, your product, or your brand. Pitch your expertise. Let me give you an example. Do we have any lawyers in the room? Of course we have lawyers in the room. We always have lawyers in the room. Where are my lawyers? Where are my lawyers? We've got to have lawyers here in the room, right? I see you back there. So let's say there's a Supreme Court decision that comes out. You're not going to reach out to that journalist and say, hey, this Supreme Court decision is super important. Come to me and I'll give you 20% off when I represent you. That's called a commercial, ladies and gentlemen. That is paid media. Instead, you're going to say top 3 ways this Supreme Court decision affects LGBT in this community. Realtors, do I have any realtors in the room? Right there, same table, my goodness, that table is stocked with expertise. Wow, we've got to get them on TV. So last year, right, the rules for buying and selling homes changed in the US for the first time in 40 years. Now you have to negotiate for the buyer's agent, the seller's agent. It's no longer 6% assumed across the board. So if I was a realtor, the week before that came out in August of 2024, I'm not reaching out saying, hey, I'm a realtor. You come to me after this goes through, I'll give you 30% off my commission. No. You're reaching out saying top 3 ways buyers can save money in this new world. Sellers, top 3 ways sellers can benefit in this new environment. You see what we're doing there? We're pitching our expertise. We're pitching value. So now you just got a blueprint for how to do the pitch. But who do you pitch to? How are you going to pitch to the right journalist, you're going to get that too. So there are websites that are free or paid that will connect you with journalists. This is the secret PR firms don't want you to know. Hi, PR firms, love you, thanks very much. So this is one of those websites. I don't own it. I don't know the owner. I get no money for this. But at our in-person media training boot camps and our course, we teach how to use this. Scan the QR code, you sign up, you will get emails into your email box every day with journalists and the stories that they're looking for. In the very middle, you can see queries this morning from USA Today, Women's Health, Business Insider. You write back to the journalist if you want to take part. Now, a couple things here. One, don't pitch in, run, thank you. And number two, you've got to be quick. You've got to be quick because other people have these lists. So if you see a story in your industry, in your niche, go ahead and email right away. There are others as well. Some of you know HARO, Help a Reporter Out. H-A-R-O, HARO. They send 2 or 3 emails a day. There's Journo Finder, which is a new one that uses AI. There's Rolly, for example, R-O-L-L-I, short for Rolodex. These are ways you can reach out to journalists directly without a big PR firm, without any PR firm, without a speakers bureau. This is one way you can get your voice heard. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, so I've got a pitch checklist so I know how to write the pitch. Now I've got some websites where I can contact the journalists, but what if they actually call me back? Oh my gosh, I couldn't possibly talk to a journalist. I couldn't possibly go on camera or be up on a stage because I have a fear of public speaking. Does that sound familiar a little bit? You're not alone. 75% of people, research shows, have a fear of public speaking. Big groups, small groups, stages, TV, journalists, whatever it happens to be. You're not alone. In fact, just a little experiment right now. Can we raise the lights, please? Can we raise the lights here in the ballroom? I just want to see for myself how many this applies to. Can you raise your hand if you have a fear of public speaking? Small, little, just raise your hand, be honest. Okay, now keep those hands up. The people who are afraid of raising their hand in public, raise your hand. So we can see that, right? All right, every single person that has your hand up right now, I see your hand, and I see the fear behind that hand. And we're going to stop that fear now. We're going to start breaking that fear here at NGLCC. Tomorrow, we have a booth, Media Advisory Experts. We are going to have a TV backdrop. We are going to have a TV light. We're going to have microphones. I want you to come by our booth and do a 2-minute interview with me about your business. I don't want you to... You're clapping, but I was an investigative reporter. You haven't done the interview yet. Clap after. Come by, and we're going to do that 2 minutes. I'm going to show you that you can do public speaking. You can be on television. You can tell your story. And I don't want you to tell me your hours, your facts, your figures. I want you to tell me your why. What is your mission? What are you doing? What difference are you making for people? And then you can use that video wherever you want. Paid media, owned media, earned media. I give you the rights. If you want to put me in the Super Bowl in a commercial, go for it. You don't need to pay me anything. And I've got help. I've got help. The gentleman here on the left, John Bates, he is the TED Talk coach to the stars. He trains celebrities in their TED Talks. He's coached 12,000 people in public speaking, including every active NASA astronaut. John is here in this ballroom, and John is going to be at the booth tomorrow. You want to talk public speaking? You want help getting over your fear of public speaking? He's the TED Talk coach to the stars. Then we've got Nick Marmolejo in the middle here, former elementary school teacher, just did his first TEDx earlier this year. Yay for teachers. Just did his first TEDx earlier this year. He's been our head of strategy. You want to talk strategy and communications and media? Nick's your guy. They're here for you. We're here for you to help you break that fear of public speaking and get that coverage you deserve. I want you to channel Dr. Marga Macias, 30-year pediatrician from New Mexico. She first came to one of our free webinars. We said, hey, come to our live in-person event in DC. She came to the one in April. We've got one next month. She goes, no. I'm so afraid of public speaking. I couldn't possibly go on camera with you. This picture was taken 5 seconds after we stopped recording on a real TV studio next to the White House. And look at her face. Look at her face, the exhilaration, the rush, the confidence, the joy, the sense of accomplishment. She beat her fear of public speaking. And you can too. Your voice needs to be heard now more than ever. And that's why I say, everybody has a story. And you're not doing enough to tell it. Now, thanks to NGLCC, you have the tools to start. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow on camera at the Expo. Thank you.